So it's 5:30 in the evening. Still on day 2. And Mother Nature said, "Fuck you." So I'm in my tent, sitting here. I had a fire going. I stayed outside with my handy-dandy umbrella, which I still believe is one of the more essential survival tools to have out. That umbrella will save you a lot of suffering. I'll just put it that way. Raincoat just doesn't cut it when it comes to umbrella. You still get soaking wet in rain gear. But, yeah, I hung out by my fire for a little bit. Now I've retreated to the tent, probably for the night, because there's no sense trying to start a new fire. It's going to be dark, so unless I just want to shine my flashlight at shit, it's really nothing going to be able to see. I got a couple more hours before it gets completely dark out. Game plan is if this weather lets up tomorrow, which hopefully it does, day 3 will be my hike out of here. Not hungry at all, plenty of energy. I did take a nap, though, out of boredom, I think. I just wanted to lay down, relax, heal. I do have a little delayed onset muscle soreness going on in my shoulders, so I'm hoping that clears up by tomorrow before I have to put the pack on. But the game plan is to leave out tomorrow, but I'm not going to leave out in the rain this time. It has to be a break in the weather, and it has to be early enough to where it won't be hiking in the dark. So I'm just going to wait out the rain. If I end up staying till Wednesday, I stay to Wednesday. Then I'll start running out of water. I'm going through about 1 liter a day, and I'm about halfway through my water for the day, and I probably won't even drink it all yet. So, kind of dry fasting a little, eh? Not really, because I was just outside. There's no fucking dry fasting outside. But I don't regret it. Even if the only good nature time I got was the first day and a half, then so be it. That's how nature works. There's a fucking excessive amount of flies hanging out under my tarp. Where did they all come from? Why are they here? At least they're not in my tent. As you can see, I'm not very, organized. But that's how I'm keeping my shit charged. And then I got my earbuds for listening to my phone music and stuff. That's a clothes bag. It doubles as a pillow. And then I have a little camping pillow I pair with it. And that keeps my head nice and comfortable. 10-degree sleeping bag. Underneath it's my Thermarest sleeping pad. Very minimal. Very minimal. Of course I got my camera gear and shit in the backpack and all of that. So yeah. That's all I brought out. No food. There's 1 liter of water that I haven't opened yet. And an open liter there. And some coffee. Some coffee grounds. In case I want to make coffee. If it's wet tomorrow, I won't get coffee for a while. So I might even do 24 hours without caffeine, which would be rough. So, there's that. But I'll be glad to be home, too. After all of, this trip. And that's part of the reason for doing the fast. Make me more appreciative of my life at home, too. Yeah. Hopefully this fucking rain doesn't last all night. Morning. Day 3 of the wilderness fast. And it's been fucking raining. I've been in this tent over 12 hours. Got out to pee. And I'd like to start hiking out of here. But even as I record this, I hear an increase in rain hitting my tent. So I'm going to try and wait it out a little bit, but I am getting antsy being in this tent this long. So it just goes to show it's not all fucking sunshine and fucking rainbows and the camping in the wilderness and shit. Sometimes nature says, hey, get in your tent, bitch. So I'm in my tent like a bitch. Hopefully the rain will let up in a few hours and I can hike out of here relatively rain-free. But as I say that, nature's like, no, you're staying, bitch. Stay or hike in the rain. That's my options, huh? Story of my life. Looks like I'm in for a little while. Again. It's part of camping. So I'm getting pretty fucking sick of laying in this tent. Oh shit. Why isn't this working? What the fuck is going on with this thing? I'm sick of laying in this fucking tent. It sounds like the rain has at least let up. I'm hearing like residual tree droppage. But that doesn't mean I'm out of the fucking woods, so to speak. I gotta get out there in the fucking rain and hike out. I've been trying to avoid it. But I don't want to really stay an extra day. Not if it's going to be sitting in this fucking tent the whole time. So I might as well suck it up, Buttercup, and get the fuck out there. And I know exactly how it's going to go because I've done it before. I'm going to be drenched and miserable by the time I reach my car. As far as the fasting goes, feeling pretty fucking good. I'm not hungry or anything, so it's not that. I'll probably stop on the way home to have an omelet or something. You know, victory and shit. Although I look like hell, so they might not want to serve me because I look like a homeless guy right now. Oh well. These things happen. But they'll give me my fucking omelet whether they like it or not. Well, shit ain't gonna pack itself up. Well, I'm about 3 miles away from my car. 3.5, something like that. The hike out is not going as well as the hike in. I am fatigued. My muscles have been hurting the whole time. So apparently fasting isn't good for muscle recovery. Duh. But yeah, I'm going to make it out. The weather's clearing up a little bit. It was raining a little bit in the beginning. But I said fuck it. And here I am sitting on a tree log. Yeah. Takes the nature's way of taking the pack weight off of my shoulders and my hips for a bit. Although it feels like mostly my shoulders have been doing it. So, looking forward to getting out of here, getting some coffee. That's the first thing on my list. I'm not even going to eat. I'm just going to get fucking coffee with maybe some cream in it. And that'll be how I break my fast. Anyway. Yeah. Although I don't have any of my stevia erythritol with me, so I'm just going to have to have it unsweetened. But I'll still enjoy the fuck out of it. I better get cracking again. Smiles aren't shortening anytime soon. Who knows how long the fucking weather's going to cooperate. We'll see. Of course, now that I said that, it's getting darker out. Shit. But not to worry. I've got my trusty umbrella. I will survive. Shit. I made it out alive. Barely. It was a rough fucking hike. I'll tell you that. I mean, it was You know, there was times where my muscles were giving out. I better put this under here because it's still drizzling. But it's raining and it's miserable. My shoulders were holding up. But I was getting a little bit of weak fatigue. So definitely fasted hiking is a challenge. But I made it out alive. And my first mission is fucking coffee. Shit. So total estimated calorie burn is about 3,000 calories for the trip. About 5,000 elevation gain. 5,000 feet. 11.1 miles is the grand total. And now begins the refeed period, which is just as important as the fasting period. Got to get lots of protein in, lots of fat, lots of calories. I got to overeat. So there'll be 2 meals a day for the next 4 or 5 days. That's to help ramp any metabolism drop that might have happened over the course of this hike. Because yes, on our 72-hour fast, you generally aren't going to lose metabolism, but if you're doing heavy physical activity like I just did, there's a chance you could ramp down your metabolism in response. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. I'll be making sure I eat plenty. And the eating time, the time where you overeat on keto, not a standard American diet, should be twice the length of your fast. Generally, that's a good formula to make sure your metabolism doesn't tank. And then we'll see how my weight results were. I don't anticipate I lost much, maybe a couple pounds. That'll probably creep back on. Didn't do it for weight loss. I did it to clean up my mess, to get whipped into shape a little bit, and build some muscle, some gains and shit. Don't know what kind of fucking gains. I feel like my neck is gonna be big, but my arms are still gonna look like shit. That was 3 days in the woods. Didn't bring any fucking water out there, or any food out there. Just water. And I lost 4 pounds. I was 194.6 pounds before I went in. And I got to 191.4. Holy shit. So for those of you on YouTube watching, I'm getting like raided by Sam Pepper right now. So go follow Sam Pepper on DLive, and he's a YouTube channel as well, so subscribe to him on YouTube. I believe I am a subscriber there as well. So the hike out was very rough, as you saw there, but I recovered very quickly. Like, I was sore this morning, and as the day went on, the muscle soreness wore off. I have refed completely. I had omelet. I even had some potatoes with my omelet. Figured I could refill my muscle glycogen. I regained a pound so far from the refeed period. So I am not lying. Vacation City is not my first rodeo. I've been an intermittent faster and keto for many years. So you can go to my YouTube channel, ScottTheTruckDriver. You can check out my whole history there where I've documented this. I straight up only brought 3 liters of water out there and a water filter for 3 days. And, you know, that's funny that you're giving me that reaction, too, because I get that reaction a lot. Like, people look at me like I'm a fucking alien because I could go out there without food. They're like, they just can't fathom going that long. When you're ketogenic for almost 5 years, well, yeah, it'll be almost 5 years now, you definitely become fat adapted to the point where I didn't get hungry the entire time out there. Now, the hike out did suck, and it wasn't as smooth as the hike in. So heavy physical activity, you know, to be on the safe side, you probably want to fuel those hikes because it gets dicey. You know, there's a chance I could have collapsed on the trail or lost consciousness or something, and then you guys wouldn't be watching this shit right now. They'd be looking for me in the woods. You know, I told a few people where I would be, and if I didn't get back in a certain time, they knew where to look for me. So there was that. What's the best water filter? Shit the bed. Well, howdy, folks. I forget the name of the water filter I use. It's that Sawyer Mini. Yeah, I use a Sawyer Mini out there.
But anyways, getting back to the subject of fasting. I've been intermittent fasting. For those of you who are new and don't know what the fuck I'm about, I have been intermittent fasting for 5 years now. The longest fast I've ever done is 7 days, water fast. I've also done fat fasting. So, there's a bunch of different protocols that can be tailored to just about anybody. Dave's on here. He does uh, alternate day fasting, and sorry, I'm getting distracted by the chat. Thank you, Mal, for hanging out, and I appreciate the host from earlier too. Yes, fat fasting. That's where you consume nothing but fat for however many days, and when I've done that, you lose a pound a day. And what it does is it slows down. You see, the first 3 days of a fast, your metabolism ramps up, and then around day 4 and on, your metabolism will start to drop. Well, if you're fat fasting, you maintain that metabolism a lot longer. It'll still drop eventually, especially since you're not taking in the full calories. But if you have a lot of body fat, you don't do these long fasts if you don't have a lot of body fat. You have to have a significant amount of body fat to get this, and I had enough for probably a good 7 or 21 day fast on me, so there's that. Yeah, it's fat fasting. It's just as effective as water fasting in terms of results, as far as weight loss goes. I don't think you get all the autophagy benefits that you would get from doing just a regular fast. So, what does it do to your heart, though? I've had 2 years of labs, Peter, and I'm in perfect health at age 43. When I started out, I was obese. I had high blood pressure. I was pre-diabetic. I weighed 255 pounds. I was an unhealthy motherfucker, eating fucking pizza and glyphosate and fucking Mountain Dew and all of that shit. I was a truck driver for 14 years too. Retired truck driver now. But fasting is how I got started. My first year, I still ate like shit, and I lost close to 50 pounds just using intermittent fasting. The longest fast I did back there was 5 days. And I can tell you, fasting with the standard American diet versus fasting as a ketogenic, fat-adapted motherfucker, it's a noticeable difference. Because when you do it as a standard American dieter, you get ravenously hungry and hangry, you binge eat, you do all of this shit. But then if you do it as a keto, as you just saw there, despite burning 3,000 calories on that hike, I was not hungry. The first thing I wanted when I got into the fucking car and got out of those woods was my coffee. That's it. Now, I did grab some cheese curds along the way on the drive home, and then I had a full meal when I got home. I had ground beef with some low-carb pizza sauce in it. So that was my deal there as far as the fasting goes, and that's what fat fasting is. What are your go-to keto meals? I am mostly carnivore. The only vegetables I keep in my life, I do have a cheat day once every 2 weeks. I keep low-carb pizza sauce. I allow nuts. I got my Veronica's Health Crunch and shit. And I do have some Halo Top, which has a little bit of strawberries in it, which are filled with glyphosate and shit. It's all bad. But, so I've been doing this a long time, and that's it. And what I did to get there, the reason I went carnivore is because I was suffering from depression. And what I found is every time I did a 30-day just meat and fat, animals only, my depression went away. My allergies have gone away. And like I said, the past 2 years, my labs have been fucking spot on. And that was from both keto and fasting. Now I don't fast quite as aggressively as I used to. Every once in a while, I'll do what I just did, and that's go out in the woods and do a long water fast. And while that's a little dangerous, I admit, it really does. It's like a fast both mentally and physically all at the same time. You're out there in the woods. You're not connected to the internet. You're not like tethered to the world. And at the same time you're going through autophagy, you're burning your body fat for fuel, and you're getting water from natural sources after a while if you stay out long enough, because you can't carry enough fucking water to last you. So yeah, keto, no bread, no potatoes. That's correct. How much did you weigh going in after you were done? I was 194.6 going in and 191.4 coming out. And that's as soon as I walked in the door when I got home. And I did have like coffee on the way and stuff. This morning I was 192.5, I think it was, somewhere in there. So I didn't really do this fast for weight loss so much as to have a reset. When you do a fast of this length, you are going to go get into autophagy and tear down some of the damaged cells, the shit. You're going to muck out your body. You're going to detox a bit. I don't like the word detox because that's not really what's going on in my book. But you clean up and you tear down, and you'll utilize that for energy while you're out there, along with your body fat. And I could tell I was using my body fat because I didn't get hungry. When you start, tearing into your muscle and shit, that's the point of starvation, where you would feel hungry all the time. I knew I was in peak fat burning mode the whole time. I mean, how else could I have hiked out of there and maintained enough glycogen to do it, which was running on E on that hike out. So it was definitely, I was pushing my limits on the hike out. 5 miles, 3,000, 1,500 calories that on the way out, without taking in any calories for the past couple days. It's your muscle glycogen can't keep up. Your liver can only produce so much glucose, and after a while, the strength gives in. But you're still burning fat. You're still burning ketones, so you're not gonna like fail. I didn't bonk. I do believe the fatigue and issues I felt were electrolyte related, because I did not take in electrolytes in the shitty smart water that I was drinking instead of the river water. So that's what I believe the weakness was from. I think if I would have brought some salt out there, which is probably what I'm going to do next time, bring some pink Himalayan salt and throw it in my water and drink it. I believe that would have helped me avoid the fatigue that almost could have made me fucking have to set up a camp in the fucking on the trail on the way back. So it was definitely, I was pretty fucking weak at the end of that. But and that's why I say I don't think anybody should do this alone like I did either. It was dangerous, and but I do dumb shit. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's me. But yeah, I do believe the weakness was definitely a thing. So bring some electrolytes. It is a thing. Cole's on to something with his fucking death fast. I don't know about this death fasting thing that's been fucking going on with Snake Diet Guy lately. But I don't believe in dry fasting. That's the other thing. I've never been a fan of dry fasting, and calling it death fasting now isn't going to make me hop on board with that. My favorite fasting protocol of all time is ADF. That's alternate day fasting. You eat every other day, you don't count the calories, and you eat ketogenically on your eating days. And you'll find that your body weight will normalize, and you could do that theoretically indefinitely the rest of your life and not deplete yourself, not fuck yourself up. Haven't done that. I've been doing 16 and 8s for the majority of my recent time periods. But I did do ADF for almost a year at one point, and that's a thing. Cole's pee drinking is a bit much, in my opinion. To each their own. I don't know about drinking piss now. I don't know that I could watch a YouTuber and be like, oh, he says I should drink my piss. Let me go fucking fill up a jug right now and shit. What the hell? Is he really drinking his own piss? Oh, man. I hope not. I hope that's not on there. I mean, how is that fucking... How am I getting demonetized and he's not? That's what I want to know. He's saying every fucking thing I could think of that's offensive while making fun of the people and telling them, hey, fatty, fucking... I was watching his little live stream he had earlier. It was interesting on the death fasting thing. So, yeah. Let me see if I'm sorry if I'm not keeping up with the chat, so just get my attention if I miss. So you go into recycle mode. Yelva, that's true. When you fast, you store electrolytes in your bones, all right? And when you're fasting, your body will utilize those electrolytes, and then you regenerate them during the refeed. That's why I always say the refeed is just as important as the fast. During the fast, you're tearing shit down. During the refeed, you're rebuilding, and you're rebuilding it better, you know? And in this case, I'm rebuilding the muscle that I tore up during the hike, and probably not rebuilding as much fat. So maybe I'll have a lower set point after this. I don't know. But my set point's been pretty normalized in the 194 range for quite a while now. So I don't anticipate this little 3-day hike knocked that down. So I probably will get right back up to the 194. And there'll be a point in your journey, if you're fasting, where you will hit that fucking plateau, and then that will be where you're stuck. You know, you might be able to dip down, like I've gotten down to 179 at my lowest. And then, you know, even being keto and all of that, it'll just ramp up. That's your hormones maintaining energy balance. Once you get down to a certain level, every time you burn off some fat, your lectin goes down. And then your leptin, not your lectin. Your leptin goes down, and your brain senses that, and it increases your appetite, and it doesn't let you get full as quickly. Like, I took down a huge 4-egg omelet today and was not full. So I'm just saying, it's clear that my body is not going to let me lose a lot more weight than I already have, not without some kind of biohacking action or permanently incorporating large amounts of fasting into my life, which I don't think is necessary, to be honest with you. And that's the other thing with the whole fucking death fasting, dry fasting thing. Why do it? Water fasting works just fine. Water fasting works. Look at the Fasting Fat Man on YouTube. He fucking did 150 days. You know, here I am with a little fucking pussy in the woods with my 3 days. Granted, I didn't have the body fat that he has to do a fast of that length. Even at my heaviest, I don't think I could have sustained 150 days with the body fat I had. So the bigger you are, the longer you can go. You know. And but there's precautions, all right? Don't just fucking watch this and then go fucking not eat for 10 fucking days. You need to, no, that's what dry fasting is without water. And that's why I'm against the whole dry fasting fad that's been mainly propagated by Snake Diet guy. You don't need to go to extremes. I mean, most of the weight I lost was either ADF or 5-2. When I first started out, I did 5-2. That's 5 days of eating, 2 days of fasting a week, 2 24-hour periods a week. I've tried all kinds of different protocols. I've went from, you know, ADF, then I did double ADF, where I would do 48 hours and then 48 hours eat and then 48 hours. I've broken the protocols in just about every increment you can think of. I found ADF was plenty optimal, but you do eventually plateau on it because you're getting to that level where your body will regulate your energy balance, and you won't be hungry at all on ADF on your fasting days, but you will not be full as easily on your feasting days. And I don't believe in counting calories if you're ketogenic. If you're standard American dieter, you're going to have to, because there's certain things in standard American diet which don't trigger your hormones properly, and that you will fucking be hungry regardless of what you're eating. So, Petter, it has to be a lifestyle change. No going back to the standard American diet. Chad, that is absolutely true. And you can't go back. You can have a cheat day here and there once you're well fat adapted and not ruin your fat adaptation. For me, it's usually once every couple weeks I'll have something. I have experimented with higher frequency cheat meals, and I find the sweet spot to be once every couple weeks, to where you don't feel like shit, you don't have returning symptoms. Keep in mind, I got rid of allergies and I got rid of depression. Now, these are all things that could come back if I overindulge in those cheat days. Thankfully, I do very little. Like, I had some potatoes with my fucking omelet. That's a cheat. I didn't have any sugar, didn't have any of the other fucking shit. Just some potatoes with my motherfucking omelet. And I didn't feel too bad after either, so apparently I utilize it. Or this diner didn't fucking poison me with vegetable oil. So there's that. So, narrow path, I like to mix it up so body doesn't get used to a cycle. Yeah, 2 weeks is the minimum for me. Sometimes I go longer. Sometimes I'll even go shorter. It depends on my life. It's generally social pressures that lead to me having a cheat meal. If I'm out with friends and they're doing their thing, and most of my friends are not keto, then I partake. Peter Baelish, so 5-2 isn't exactly eat what you want on the 5 days. You still have to eat healthy, right? Absolutely. But in the beginning, if weight loss is your goal, I did it that way. I ate standard American diet for 5 days. Then I had 2 days for nothing. Now, the reason I went keto, and I still had depression, I still had autoimmune, I would break out in hives, I was allergic to anything. If a cat looked at me wrong, I had to fucking go give half my paycheck to fucking the pharmaceutical industry for some Benadryl. I was in shitty health, both mentally and physically, even though I was losing the weight. And as I continued, I found that I had to get into this cycle where I aggressively increased the amount of time I spent fasting. Just to maintain.
Well, howdy, folks.
Thank Han Solomon for the follow. I gradually worked my way to this point where I was almost fasting more often than I was eating just to maintain my weight loss. I plateaued. Sometimes doing fucking ADF 36, which is 36 hours on, 36 hours off. I did that for quite a while. And I would be angry, miserable, hungry like a motherfucker, have massive binges that were just out of control. All because I was on the standard American diet, and I identified the hunger needs to go. I'd heard rumors that there's ways of not being hungry on fasting, and that's when I stumbled on keto as a method, because you're not fucking hungry at all on keto. You will naturally do a 16-8 style intermittent fast if you're eating a ketogenic diet. It will not take over your life. You'll be full. And you'll get full quicker when you eat. It takes 6 to 8 weeks to adapt, but I can tell you life without hunger is different than life on the standard American diet, where you are constantly fucking hungry and obsessing about food every 2 to 3 fucking hours of your day. Who has that kind of fucking time? I don't want to be irritable when I don't eat. I felt good. I wasn't irritable out there. I was irritable when the fucking rain was kicking my ass, and I wasn't happy about that. But, and the hike back was pretty brutal. But the rest of the trip, I was fucking great. If I was a standard American dieter, I'd have been miserable in the first 4 hours. That's the difference between being a keto intermittent faster and being an actual standard American diet faster. So the keto definitely goes hand in hand with intermittent fasting. Once you get rid of that gnawing hunger that's always there as a carb burner, you free yourself. I mean, all the time you spent obsessing about food and planning meals and constantly every couple hours snacking, that goes away, And for the most part, I eat on a normal basis. I eat 1 meal a day and 1 snack per day. I've upped it for the next 4 days to recover from this fast, because I want to give the proteins and the fats and the energy needed to build any muscle that I may be building from that exercise. But on a normal basis, I'm pretty much 1 meal a day, and I do fat fast in the morning, as in I have heavy cream only in my coffee, and stevia or erythritol is the sweetener. So you'd have suffered low glucose symptoms had you been on a standard. Yeah, I would have bonked, definitely, Yelva. Because I was fat adapted, I made it out alive, and I have no doubts about that. If I was a sugar burner and I fasted for 3 days and tried to hike out, my body be in the woods somewhere. I'd have passed out on the trail. And like I said, the only reason I believe I got fatigued was a lack of electrolytes. I didn't take in salt. I didn't take in potassium or magnesium. Easily could have been solved by filtering some water from the river and drinking it, because that is how we used to get our fucking electrolytes. Your modern fucking bottled water doesn't have any of that shit in it. And your tap has, who knows what the fuck's in your tap water. But when you start drinking from hopefully unpolluted natural lakes, that's how we used to get. We didn't fucking supplement when we were fucking hunter-gatherers. We didn't go through any of that shit. We fucking get in the river, you fucking boil the water, and there you go. You got all your fucking minerals in one shot. Sometimes that water tastes like shit, but you know what? It gives you everything you need. Welcome, honest as fuck. I'm glad you made it. Peter Baelish, you said you don't count calories, but if you had to guess how many calories you were consuming daily. Today, I probably would guesstimate close to 3,000 calories I took in today. On a normal day, I would probably, it hovers around 2,000. Now, here's why you don't count calories. You see, once you're fat adapted and your hormones are doing their job for energy balance, if you overeat, and this is a plus or minus 1,000 calories, this has been proven in studies, and I've tested it thoroughly myself by forcibly overeating to see if I would plateau my weight going up. And sure enough, after about 4 pounds of weight gain, if I overeat, my metabolism ramps up. I get sweaty in bed. I have to fucking go out. I get all kinds of energy going. And if I undereat, my metabolism ramps down. You can, if you look at the Biggest Loser study, resting metabolism dropped almost 1,000 calories. And they didn't go back up when they started eating again. So they regained all the weight. You cannot count calories for this shit. It's self-defeating. You don't know what your metabolism's at in terms of energy expenditure. And there ain't no fucking calculator going to tell you whether or not you've tanked your metabolism or whether your metabolism's ramped up. So counting calories is just about fucking useless in my book. It's better to be ketogenic and let your brain fucking tell you. If you're hungry, you fucking eat. If you're not hungry, you don't eat. And when you're keto, that system works perfectly. You will always plateau on keto. Eventually. It's just a question of what your set point is on keto. And the more fucking damage you did to yourself, it's probably going to be the higher your set point. Before your brain starts to sense the leptin drop, because fat cells make leptin. So that's how your brain knows how much fat you have on board. When you're on the standard American diet, you don't get your leptin signals because it's blocked by insulin, which is fucking being spiked every 2 to 3 hours because you're hungry every 2 to 3 hours, and you ride the blood sugar waves over and over again, and you never stop fucking eating, even when you're got enough fat on board, which is why obesity is a thing. Once you fix this system, and I don't believe keto removes, is a low-calorie diet. I believe that it causes a gradual loss because you can hear your leptin again. So when you go keto after your 6 to 8 week period, your brain's like, holy shit, I got a lot of fat on board. And it ramps your metabolism up, even resting. And you will start to lose weight. And then you'll get to the point where probably about 10 to 20 pounds shy of your goal. If you're fasting too. You'll get to the point where your brain will sense when it's starting to drop too low. It'll be like, okay, leptin's getting too low now. So it'll lower your metabolism. It also regulates how much you eat when you eat before you get full. So if you don't listen to your body and you keep feeding yourself, then you could theoretically, I think, gain weight. But if you stop eating when you're full on a ketogenic diet and you eat when you're hungry, I think you'll find you'll eat maybe once or twice a day, depending on how physically active you are. If you sit on your ass in front of this fucking computer all day, I tell you, you're fucking one meal a day. You're good to go. And it probably won't even be a big meal. Probably about 1,200, 1,500 calories. But you're active. Guess what? You're going to be hungrier. And you'll be able to eat more. And sure enough, 3 days in the wilderness, no food. I pounded 3,000 calories today like it was nobody's business. And I probably could have another snack again. And that's part of the process. And the reason I always try and listen to my body, especially post-fast, is I want my metabolism to ramp right the fuck back up. Because while that's going on, I'm also repairing any tissue that I consumed during the fast, because you do lose a little lean mass. And I'm also repairing, my cells, my tissues, and building muscle because I exercise during it. And you can rebuild tons of muscle, so people that worry about, you lose all your gains. No. You rebuild your gains during the refeed period. And it, arguably, if you're not doing, even if you're sitting on your ass, you'll probably rebuild at the very least, what you lost in terms of lean mass. So that's my thoughts there. That was a long little fucking tirade. Do you do any salad or veggies? I used to, narrow, but I was still suffering from minor depression when I went keto, and it was important to me to work on my mental health. And I heard about Michaela Peterson eliminating her depression, and also a few others in the carnivore community. Amber O'Hearn is one that comes to mind, who treated their depression with an all-meat diet. So I gave it a try for 30 days. And I said, you know what? This is good and all. I like eating fucking steak. But I like some of the foods I was giving up on keto. So what I did is through process of elimination, I would bring certain foods back into the mix. And what I found was, if I kept the leafy greens out of my life, maybe once in a while I'll have a salad. But when I'm talking maybe once every couple weeks, I might allow myself a salad. I almost consider it like a cheat day. That the greens were fucking with me. They were causing issues. I was having some itchiness in my skin from the hives, and I had to get rid of it. And being depression-free now has gone a long way too. But I can't attribute that 100% to the carnivore diet. I do attribute it partially to the fact that I quit alcohol. I have not had a drink in 6 months now, 7 months, somewhere in there, since my last alcoholic beverage. So I don't drink. And I have been depression-free. That's without taking any pills or any of the other fucking treatments. And trust me, my depressions were intense. They got a little bit better with keto, and I've documented this over the years on my channel. But now they're to the point where it's just kind of meh. If I get down on something, it lasts an hour, as opposed to 4 days of fucking hell, which is what my depressions used to be. So I definitely was able to treat it with the diet. So I don't do a lot of plants. And to be honest, when I was a standard American dieter, I didn't eat a lot of fucking plants either, unless you count fucking fries or whatever the hell they put on pizza. Pretty sure there was no plants other than the fucking grain. Lots of grain though. And that grain is the worst. If you say you're looking at this right now, I ain't fucking be a keto, you piece of shit. Well, guess what? Just get rid of the fucking grain, all right? The grain is by far the biggest problem in our diets. And in and of itself, grain is a problem. But all of the shit and the chemicals and the glyphosate and all of that crap that's in there is made our problems worse, which is why you see so much autoimmune problems, so many issues with the diet. So my refeed consists of nutrient and fat dense foods. That's exactly what I refeed with meat and fat. I start out with fat when I break the fast, and then then I added the cheese curds this time, and then I went and had a big bowl of meat, and cheese, meat and cheese with some pizza sauce. It was fucking brilliant. Ate a whole pound of fucking ground beef. It was great. Felt very satisfied too. So I love organ meats. I use liver, eggs, and cold water to fish. This is from Yelva. I also like pork brains. I don't do the organ meats. And I've heard a lot from the carnivore community that there's the carnivores that don't do organ meat, and then there's carnivores that do. And it's about a break even in terms of nutrition. I think if there's eggs in your diet, you've pretty much got a complete nutritional profile there. And if you eat sausage too, you're kind of getting some organ meats in that way. But, any supplements, Narrowpath asks. No, I do not believe in supplementation. I believe in doing it through the diet. And other than the vitamin D problem, which is a problem I had. I was vitamin D deficient, but that's from lack of sunlight exposure from being inside too much. Working on that, as you could see. I'm going to try and get out more. Didn't get a lot of sunlight on that trip, though, so I think I need to get out in the sun at some point. It's going to happen, though, because in November I'll be going down to Texas. Road trip. There'll definitely be some full IRL streams for that. So, I don't think it's mandatory, just like those things. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think it's mandatory. I tried liver. Didn't work out. Remember that video? So, Waldemar, if it keeps you from eating a candy bar, sure, fruits are way overrated. Fiber on keto isn't necessary. I think fruits in season, locally grown, preferably glyphosate free and not GMO'd, then you're probably going to be all right. And if you're only doing it seasonally, even if you went completely off keto for a while because of it, I don't think you would suffer too badly. It's that the Walmart fruits and the fruits that, when you're eating tropical fruit all fucking year round and making smoothies with that shit, that's when I think you get into the danger zone. Because you're also getting, some of the dirty dozen are fruit. A lot of the dirty dozen are fruit, and that's the dirty dozen for glyphosate. Look up glyphosate. I've been on a big kick about it lately. So there's that. TV shows it. So to wrap up the fasting talk, intermittent fasting should be part of your life no matter what your diet is. We were not designed to eat every 3 hours. If you go back even a couple thousand years, you will find that the people generally ate once a day. If you go back to hunter-gatherer times, you found that they ate once every couple days if they were lucky. And they ate whatever they could find. They weren't necessarily going around saying, I'm keto or I'm vegan. They were like, oh, can I eat that? Let me fucking eat that. And the problem is we got too much shit that's edible that's bad for us. And there's shit out in nature that's bad for you too. But if it comes to starving to death in 3 days or getting sick and dealing with symptoms because you ate something back in hunter-gatherer times, you're obviously going to eat something and hope you don't die. At least not quickly. I think we're at the point now where we could work on our food choices to the point where we could up our quality of life significantly. And it's the one thing I can leave with you here that fasting has brought to me is an increase in quality of life, an increase in mental acuity as well. If you watched my old trucker videos back in the day, I was a piece of shit. Now I'm a smarter piece of shit than I was back then. And I can't attribute it all to just learning. I think I increased my capacity to learn and be focused and sharp with intermittent fasting. So, optimal protocol, like I said, is ADF. But you should throw a long fast in here or there of at least 5 days. No more than 5 days if you don't have a lot of body fat. If you're like obese, you could probably get away with a 7 to 21 day fast. But there's no need to push the boundaries. There's no need to dry fast. There's no need to go fucking balls to the walls in fasting. All right? I find some people, they get so obsessed with the scale numbers that they way over fast. And, it's unnecessary. And in the end, if you're fasting on the American diet, you're going to regain almost every fucking pound you lose because of the metabolism tank if you do a long fast and you're a standard American dieter. I've seen it many times on the internet in terms of, and I experienced it myself firsthand. When a standard American dieter does a fast, or a vegan for that matter, but vegan's almost like fasting anyway, they tend to regain every last fucking pound and then some afterwards. And that's because they haven't got their hormones working properly prior to doing those long fasts. If you're a standard American dieter, my suggestion, if you're not willing to be keto but you still want to fast, keep it under 72 hours. And that's it. Don't attempt the long fasts unless you fat adapt first. 6 to 8 weeks of keto, then you'll find that you have a much easier time with the longer fasts. If you eat the standard American diet, even a 72-hour fast is going to be pretty fucking miserable for you, which is why I was able to fucking do what I did out there. If I'd have been a standard American dieter and out in them woods, I wouldn't have made it. I don't think. I honestly think I would have bonked on that trail, given where I was at. So I was clearly fucking depleted of glycogen for that. So fasting is, let's see, let me catch up here. Peter, the whole not eating enough causes your body to store fat is a lie. The metabolism drop is a thing, but if you are keto and your hormones are working and you undereat, your metabolism's going to drop and adjust accordingly. And if you overeat, if you take in too many calories, your metabolism ramps up. Take in too few calories, your metabolism ramps down. Standard American diet, take in too many calories, your metabolism does not ramp up. Take in too few calories, your metabolism drops. And say you did that, right? You tanked your metabolism. You've been going to the gym. You've been pounding the fuckmaster over and over again. You've been eating 400 or 500 calorie diet. And you fucking get the Slim Fast. You're like fucking Oprah's champion and shit with the whole fucking Weight Watcher shit. And lo and behold, your metabolism drops. And you plateau like a motherfucker. So what do you got to do? Well, I guess you get to go to the fucking gym more. And eat less. Even less than that. Just to lose a little bit more weight. And then finally you get there. You're like, oh, I've reached my goal. And you're working out fucking 5 days a week for 2 hours at a fucking time while eating 800 fucking calories. And then lo and behold, you fuck up. And you're like, oh shit. I sprained my ankle when I was running on the fucking treadmill. And then guess what? Guess what starts to happen? See, your metabolism's way down here now. Probably it's close to that 800 to 1,000 calorie deficit in your resting metabolic rate. And your weight starts to creep back up. This happens 98% of low-calorie dieters. Eat less, move more. So the only way to maintain weight loss is a very low-calorie diet or exercising your ass off and not eating enough is to keep doing that the rest of your life. In which case you'll be fucking hungry. You'll be miserable. And even when you eat, you'll still be hungry. Because your body is screaming. It thinks you're starving. And there's a very good study on this. Next time you're thinking of doing a low-calorie diet instead of intermittent fasting and keto, look up the Minnesota starvation experiment. Guess what that was? That wasn't fasting. It was an 800 calorie a day diet. They fed all of those motherfuckers. And they were normal body weight when they started too. They made sure not to put any fat fucks in there. It was all just normal body weight motherfuckers. And 800 calories a day, they became emaciated. They became very food obsessed. They chewed unbelievable amounts of gum. One of them gnawed part of his arm off in hunger. That's what waits for you if you get into that low-calorie shit. And I speak from experience on this. It's not the first time I tried to lose weight doing this. This is the only time it fucking worked long term. Like, I can sit in this chair for the next fucking 6 months and not gain a single fucking pound. I don't have any muscle. That shit'll atrophy. Be out of shape as fuck. But I won't gain fat. As long as I stay keto. And I don't even have to do intentional fasting. I fast 16 and 8 naturally. And that's the lowest fasting protocol. And it comes natural on a ketogenic diet. So that's my thoughts on fasting. It should be part of your life. Even if you don't do it every day, get out there and do one every now and then. If you can't do it at home, turns out going somewhere where there's no fucking food to do it, pretty good fucking policy. It's hard to cheat when you're in the middle of fucking nowhere. But, like I said, it's not safe to do that shit. So, it is what it is. But remember, I'm not a fucking expert. For those of you here on D Live, I'll hang out and chat and answer a few more questions, but I'm ending my YouTube portion of the video right now. I'm just a fucking asshole. Please do your own homework. Don't take what I say and just fucking run with it. Get out there, learn about this shit. If I could do it as a truck driver, thank you, XXX Rider, for the 2D fucking fruity. I'm still upset that Sid Haig has passed away. The world will never be the same. I'm even going to dress up as Captain Spaulding this Halloween. Because, you know, I kind of look like the motherfucker. But, you know, please like and subscribe for more shit. And I'll make more shit. If you found this video enlightening or my miserable wilderness fucking experience on the way out helped you in some way, please head to ScottTheTruckDriver.com and leave a tip in the virtual fucking tip jar. And I'll keep making more shit. I use that to fund my videos because YouTube has me under the yellow icon of unhappiness almost all the time, where I get $2 a video. It's fucking great. Isn't it great? $2 a video. It's hard work and shit. It's good. But you guys have been stepping up. You've been having me crank out 5 videos a week, which is the cap that I can do and not go nuts. So, you know, you've given me a little bit of a break this past week, so I'm good with that. You know, we got 2 videos this week and 3 videos next week. But if you want to fund them, up to 5 videos a week, every $20 I receive on ScottTheTruckDriver.com will fund another video, and up to 5 per week. If I, for some reason, can't get all 5 out, they go on to the next week. So that's how that works. But I promise no more than 2 weeks waiting for your videos to get out. Also, follow me on fucking D-Live, where I just got fucking raided by Sam Pepper. It was fucking great. And shit. Highest concurrent fucking views, too. So, if you're on YouTube and you want to join the fun and participate, I don't just fucking do this kind of stream all the time. Sometimes I get on here, I do truck driver karaoke. That seems to be pretty popular, where people tell me songs to sing and I fuck them up horribly in often embarrassing ways. Or I might even be gaming, or I might just come on and chill. These are all things I'm going to do on here. So, yep, I'm up to 308 followers now. Pushing my way to partner someday. Maybe. Depends on if I can entertain motherfuckers on here. It's hard to get partner. So, hopefully you can follow me on D-Live. This streaming schedule is available, but most of all, if you want to keep up with everything I do, because the algorithm on YouTube is a piece of shit, head to ScottTheTruckDriver.com and subscribe to my email list. I fire that out right before I go live. Whenever I'm aware of I'm scheduling a live stream, I will fire out that email so that you can get here. You know, for some reason, some people don't get the D-Live notifications. I don't think it only works with the phone. So that's how I keep you up to date. Also keeping you up to date with all my latest videos on YouTube, in case YouTube's algorithm says, fuck you, I don't care that you hit the bell, motherfucker. I'm not showing you this motherfucker shit. No, I'm going to show you fucking all the fucking other Thomas DeLauer. That's what you get to watch, not Scott the Truck Driver, fucking Thomas DeLauer and shit. Or, I don't even know, is fucking Snake Diet D-ranked? I'd have to search to find that out. So, stick around if you're here on D-Live. But for the rest of you, have a nice motherfucking day. And shit. And I lived. I survived. Could have went a whole other way. But it's not the first time. It's all good. Not eating is fucking great. Shit.